a Brooklyn Park man with Alzheimer's wandered away from his home. Tragically, he was found deceased a few days later. It's stories like this that are painful to families. We reached out to the Alzheimer's Association to find out how often those with the disease wander off and how those who care for patients can keep them safe.
About 1 in 6 people with dementia tend to wander at some point in the progression of the disease.
One of those individuals with the disease that wandered away was 89-year-old Sylvester Smith. He was found deceased a few days later. While these tragic situations happen, experts say there are ways to keep your loved ones safe if they're in your care.
Even just have some kind of simple alarm on the door, just something like a bell even, or there are lots of different options for technology that can have another alarm or send an alert to a phone.
While memory care facilities are a good option, those who train caregivers say that every case is different, and those caring for someone with Alzheimer's should do what's best for the person's well-being.
It depends on the person's preferences. You know, if a person has been able to detect they have dementia early enough, then they can say, when I get to this point in the disease, then I want this to happen. So that's why early detection is so important. They can name their preferences.
However, caregivers shouldn't feel bad if their original plan for care has to change.
Caring for anyone with dementia, making decisions for their future is really about improving, trying to find the option that it both allows for safety and as much independence as possible.
As for those of us who may encounter someone who has wandered off, there are a few ways you can tell if someone is suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia.
If that person seems to be confused about what year it is, about what day it is, about where they are at, or even who they are, or their address or phone number, and if you also notice that there's no other injuries that seem to explain that confusion, you're probably working with someone with Alzheimer's.
Experts say a good way to keep those with Alzheimer's from wandering is to make sure they have a consistent schedule every day with activities and to make sure that their basic needs are met. For more information on Alzheimer's and care, you can head to our website, ccxmedia.org. Well, 2019 has barely begun, but folks in Maple Grove are already looking ahead for the 2020 census. Volunteers underwent complete count committee training Thursday. The committee's mission is to make sure everyone gets counted, even people that might be challenging to find. The training covers ways to reach out to people who might otherwise be passed over by the census,
so that they can create awareness among Maple Grove citizens that the census is coming, the census is safe, it's to their benefit to participate in the census.
Getting an accurate census is important for a number of reasons, one of which is that population determines how many congressional representatives a state has. A Robbinsdale family is the new owner of a popular Minneapolis restaurant. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us what changes are on the way for Emily's, plus what traditions are staying the same.
Everybody loves Emily's.
Emily's Cafe has been a staple in North Minneapolis for more than 50 years.
We've been coming here off and on, I think, ever since whenever Emily's opened up.
Delicious breakfast, comfort foods, and the family-friendly environment keep folks coming back.
I'm waiting for all the food that's going to come up.
The restaurant is named after Emily Benincasa. Emily is retiring and turning over the reins to her niece, Anna Donato Gani.
So I've been learning a lot of new things, let's put it that way.
If the Donato name sounds familiar, it should. Anna has several businesses in the Northwest Metro, including Donato's Floor Shop in Crystal and Pickles Catering and Mama Donato's Wood-Fired Pizza.
To buy this was a big investment for us.
Yeah. She says her newest investment could be challenging.
We really had to think hard about that because running a business is difficult. Running a restaurant these days is really hard.
While the name is changing to Emily's Eatery, the menu won't change as much, but she is increasing the lunch menu and adding healthier items.
So some power bowls, some Greek salads, some good protein, salmon, grilled turkey.
Anna is also honoring her family's legacy with limited edition mugs and other items.
She comes up with all these things that I just can't get over.
The new owners say the warm atmosphere and welcoming environment will be the foundation of Emily's Eatery.
Very, very happy. Well, because it's such a solid, resourceful, good, kind place to return to again and again.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Looks like a great place to grab something to eat. Well, police in Brooklyn Park did a different kind of patrol on Friday. Every other week, command staff at the police department take some time to deliver Meals on Wheels. It's all a part of their community policing initiative, which seeks to put officers out in the community to build better relations.
Take care. It's a great positive reward for ourselves and our staff because we get immediate feedback from community members that receive this benefit, that they really do appreciate us being out here doing this type of work.
Delivering meals and other volunteerism is also now a part of the cadet training at the BP Police Academy. You can see this and other stories on our website at ccxmedia.org.
Before the snow this past week, athletes in many spring sports had a couple of days to squeeze in games. That includes the Maple Grove softball team, which played its first outdoor game of the season at home, taking on Spring Lake Park. The Panthers score in the top of the first, but catcher Sophie Culhane blasts a two-run homer in the bottom of the inning to give the Crimson the lead. In the top of the third, though, Spring Lake Park puts up 4 runs. Maddie Peak whips the ground ball just fair to score Jenna Nussbaum. And it's 5-2 Panthers after 2.5. But Maple Grove explodes in the third. Culhane drives a shot over the outfielder and off the fence. It scores Elizabeth Berry and Sydney Hockett, and the Crimson are just getting started. Nikki Raber in her first varsity game pounds a 3-run home run, giving the Crimson a 9-5 lead. The next hitter is Maddie Doyle, and she goes deep as well. A solo shot gives MG a 10-5 lead, and they are not done. Culhane connects again, this time a 3-run shot, giving her 7 RBIs for the game and a 14-5 Crimson lead. Bree Callan comes through with a 2-run double as Maple Grove scores 20 runs in the inning. They win big 22-5 in the first outdoor game of the season.
It was super crazy. It felt super good. I felt like we were bonding as a team very well, and like the momentum just kept on going. It was incredible.
I thought it was really exciting how we started off a little iffy, but then as together as a team, we came up and got those 20 runs in that one inning and just came together.
Maple Grove also beat Coon Rapids and enters play this week with a 3-0 record. The Prep Boys tennis season is underway too. The Champlin Park Rebels are looking to bounce back after an uneven 2018 season. It's a mixed bag when it comes to early season weather for local boys tennis teams. The Champlin Park guys know that cold and wind are part of the deal, and staying mentally tough is a key.
Yeah, it's very important because like you can get down early too, and then you just got to battle back, and it's all mental in this sport, so it's good to just battle back and get the win.
Having our hands being cold, you know, it's just makes the game harder, and I think, you know, moving you stay warm, but I think the hardest part is actually supporting a teammate after you win, because you're standing there in the cold, you're not moving, you're not warm.
It's probably more mental and physical a lot of times, you know, so having that mentality of being able to, you know, gut through, you know, windy days or, you know, cold days or whatever, but just, I think the big thing too is being able to fight through, you know, frustrating shots or, you know, missing shots early on.
The Rebels didn't have as strong of a season as usual last spring, finishing just under 500. They fully expect to better that mark this season, and a win to open the year against rival Anoka was a good start.
I think we're going to do pretty good. We beat Anoka, so that's a strong start. They've usually been a pretty tough team for us, for sure.
We have a rivalry with them because it's a border battle, and it's always good to get the first one out of the way too, so that was a good win for us.
Yeah, win over a rival is definitely the greatest. It's always good to beat someone like Anoka, who is very good. They were very good, but we just happened to come up on top in majority of the games, and it just gives us a boost of energy.
Champlin Parks isn't a program that typically draws elite top-level players, but what they do have is depth. That makes for good practices that help everyone improve.
It makes practice a lot fun because it's very even competition throughout. Like, our 4 singles can play really well against our first singles, and it wouldn't be the most different game in the world.
But we're a pretty deep team, I feel like. We don't drop off anywhere, so I think that'll be good for us, in the long run. Historically, usually we're usually pretty deep, but I feel like this year we're maybe a little deeper than past years. So,
expected snow this week might keep Champlin Park off the courts for a bit, but when they do get back outdoors, the Rebels are swinging for a strong season. Before the snow, the Rebels added a win over district rival Blaine Tuesday, and they are now 2-0 to start this season.